Let's now tackle this root problem from the Amc 10 and 12. When the roots of the polynomial are removed from the number line, what remains is 11 disjoint open intervals. How many of them is p of x positive? So, the key thing here is that squares, they're always positive. Oh, of course, unless we have x equals 2 here, then it will be 0. But they're always at least 0 and generally positive unless this value exactly matches this value. So x minus 2 squared is a square. X minus 4 to the 4th is a square. All the way until x minus 10th to the 10th power. That is also a square. So the thing is, you've probably done these kind of standard inequality stuff in algebra 1 or 2, I don't know, wherever it is, where you have, okay, x minus 3 and then x minus 4. And then if x is below 3, then both of these are negative. If x is between 3 and 4, then this is negative, or then this is positive, but this is negative. And if x is above 4, then they're both positive. But then what happens when we have x minus 1 squared here? The thing is, x minus 1 squared doesn't really affect the sign because it's a square. So we just say, okay, at 1 it's 0, but even then, all the values less than 3 will still result in a positive value because negative times negative, and then this is always positive. So that's kind of the key idea here. We're just going to ignore all of these square terms. And then we're just going to be left with x minus 1 to the 1, x minus 3 cubed, so on x minus 9 to the 9th. And just to see this, I'm just going to write all of the values in the number line. So what happens if x is less than 1? Well, of course, we're going to ignore the squares because we know those are positive. If x is less than 1, this is negative, and all the way till this is negative. And the key thing here is because it's an odd power, we can just, it's the same thing as just saying it's just 1. Because the x to the 9 to the 8th stuff is always, it's not going to change the sign because it's an 8th power. So if it's less than 1, we have 5 negatives. But that means it's going to be negative. So it's going to be a negative over here. Now, what if it's greater than 1 but less than 3? So for most values greater than 1 and less than 3, we're going to have positive, negative, 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 negative. You know what? I'm just going to write these all out because I think it might be a little easier to understand that way. So let's see. So we have positive and 4 negatives. So that's going to make it positive. So if it's greater than 1 and less than 3, it's going to be positive here. Of course, the only exception to that is 2, where, of course, it's going to become 0. But everywhere else, it's going to be positive. So now what about if it's between 3 and 5? So 3 and 5, that will make this positive, and then negative, negative, negative. So 2 positives, 3 negatives, that's negative. Except, of course, 4 will be 0. I'm not going to mention that anymore. Now, if it's between 5 and 7, then we have, then this term will become positive, and the other two will remain negative. So that's going to be 3 positives, 2 negatives. That's going to be positive. And then finally, if it's between 7 and 9, then that becomes positives. 4 positives, 1 negative, that's a negative. And then finally, if it's greater than 9, so all these are positive, it's of course going to be positive. So the question is, how many intervals are occupied here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, of course, beyond 10. So our answer is just going to be equal to 6. And that's the final answer for this problem. So the key thing here is just being careful. I know it's a problem a lot of people messed up. Being careful, writing down 1 through 10 methodically, and then realizing, okay, these 2's don't really matter, these even powers. So I can just worry about the odds and realize that, maybe I forgot to mention this, but this part, or I did mention it, this part is all negative. So we really only have to worry about this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 intervals. Hope you enjoyed this video.